Hey guys, ready for some more FeralInferno? Just make sure you have the lights on in the room and don't sit too close to the TV. Hey, FeralInferno, here today to talk about Fairy Tail. We're going to be doing a series overview of the anime, and it's something that I've been watching for about 10 years now. I've been collecting the Blu-rays. I just got the last 4 over the past couple months. I finally got a gift card and they were a little bit on sale during the Christmas time. So I said, you know what, it's time to pull the trigger. It's time to finish this series up. And I'm glad I did. It was a really good journey. We're going to be talking about some of the characters. The main characters, we're going to be talking a little bit about how the story progresses. We're going to avoid spoilers. As you know, if you're a veteran of the FeralInferno channel, you know that we don't like to talk about spoilers here. So we're going to do our best to avoid those. We're going to take a look at the Blu-ray DVD covers. We're going to be taking a look at all of those. I believe there's 27 of them all together. So we're going to take a look at some of the artwork. We're going to be talking about some of the pros and cons of the series. And stick around and we're going to take a look at some of the artwork right now. Fairy Tail is a story set in the kingdom of Fiori, filled with magical guilds and dragons. The long journey is filled with lots of lighthearted and at times serious moments. One of the cool things about Fairy Tail is just how many characters end up in the show by the end of the series. It's really a little overwhelming when you get to the end. However, you'll really learn to root for a lot of the characters and you'll learn to love a lot of them too. Of all these characters, there are 4 that really stand out. One of them being Natsu Dragno. He's a dragon slayer and also a fire wizard. He's got really cool fire magic and he's got a really cool background with his story of dragons. Also, we got Lucy Heartfilia. She is what's called in the show a celestial wizard. If you follow RPGs and the like, you'll better know her as a summoner. She summons really cool spirits, mostly of celestial origin, looking at the 12 zodiacs. The representation of those zodiacs is pretty cool in the series, and you kind of look forward to seeing what all the zodiacs look like and act like. Another one is Gray Fullbuster. Gray is an ice wizard. He wasn't my favorite character in the show. He has his moments, but there are times you just, for me at least, he just kind of bugs me. And I feel like if you like Natsu, you probably won't like Gray as much, and if you like Gray, you probably won't like Natsu as much. So I was more of a Natsu person, and not as much as Gray, which really makes sense with fire and ice not really mixing very well. Another one of the characters is Urza Scarlet. She was one of my favorites. She has the magic of requip. Requip allows her to instantaneously use magic to create magic armor and magic swords. She has a really cool assortment of armor and swords that, and again, you look forward to seeing what she's going to pull out next. So let's go over some of the pros of Fairy Tail. One of them being this is a long, grand adventure of 328 episodes with a really satisfying conclusion. Another is that there are 2 filler seasons, and while they represent the low points in the series, they are still done extremely well for filler seasons. As someone who's watched a lot of anime series and seen a lot of bad filler, you'd have to have a really kind of keen eye to know that it's filler. Again, they're watchable, not the best in the series, and you can kind of tell that it's not really supposed to be part of the show. But again, you'd have to really look deep to find that out. So yeah, when filler is a necessary evil in anime, we all understand that, right? But at least they could do it well, especially for such a long series. They have really excellent character development. You'll find at least 1 or 2, and probably more characters, whether they're the good or the bad, that you'll resonate with and you'll really cheer for, and that you'll really be excited to kind of see what kind of magic that they use and how they'll innovate in some of the battles in the show. There's not a lot of cons with Fairy Tail, but there are some big ones that we got to talk about. There is fan service in this show. It's a bit much at times. It's a little bit too much. I guess a lot of people probably won't mind it as much as I probably did, but there's just sometimes it's like there's a lot of times it's actually really funny, to tell you the truth. It'll make you laugh, but sometimes it's just like, okay, that's a little bit too much, and we don't need to go that far. But a lot of times it's done out of humor. It's not done out of trying to be super hyper perverted or anything. Another weird thing about the show that I noticed somewhat early on, it didn't bother me at first, and then eventually I was like, okay, enough is enough. There's a lot of characters that like to cry. Almost every episode there's one character crying at least about something. There are a lot of emotional themes in the show, and sometimes like you might even feel a little emotional, but some of it's just ridiculous. It's like, okay, get over it. Like, you don't need to cry about everything. So some of the crying stuff was a little annoying. And then this is something a lot of animes really suffer from, and I call it kind of Dragon Ball Z syndrome a little bit, and that's the fake deaths. And I think almost every anime has it, but there's a good amount of them here, and they're not all fake deaths, but there are some fake deaths, and it sucks when they try to pull at your heartstrings, and then it's like, oh hey, just kidding, everybody's okay. Some of them are actually, there's some pretty good fake scenes in there, and some of them are pretty crazy as well in terms of the ones that aren't fake. But yeah, that's one of the things I really didn't like about the show. And but again, that's another thing a lot of anime suffer from, and Fairy Tail is no exception to that. So yeah, that is Fairy Tail. Let me know in the comments below if you have seen Fairy Tail, if you know of it, if you heard anything about it, if you've seen artwork from it and you've been kind of intrigued. Has this video gotten you interested in the series? Let me know in the comments below, and we'll see you on the next video. Take care.